What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, this is a driving video. Yes, it's unsafe. Yes, I'm immortal. No, I don't care. So, question actually that I got from a few of you guys. That was a good question. It was a very good question. Essentially concerning, I do not feel like I'm living up to my potential. I feel like I could be doing more. Can you help me? Or what would you suggest I do? Or is there something I should read? Etc., etc., etc. There's a few varieties to the question. What do you do when you don't feel like you're living up to what you could be? So you have unfulfilled potential. As I said this morning, and I'll say it again, generally speaking, I believe most of the time, people know what they lack. You know what you are underdeveloped in. You know what you are afraid of. You know the thing that you do not want to approach. You know what it is that you avoid. That, in my mind, is the foremost area to tackle or to approach or to just put action into if you're trying to bring out your potential. Then you can ask, larger questions of, what should I do with my life? What should I create? What should my, mission and aim be? But those are higher level questions. Those are much higher level questions. If you've got your health sorted out and your environment sorted out and you have your friends and social circles sorted out and you have some sense of purpose or at least a sense of identity, then you can start to address, what the mission is, what the legacy is, what the grand goal is. If you don't have those things sorted out, though, and you are struggling with your health, struggling with your finances, struggling with friends, struggling with just your sense of self as to what your day-to-day life is, where things feel aimless and you don't feel purposeful in any way, shape, fashion, or form, and you have no real success to show for yourself. If you're struggling with those basic, I don't want to say levels, but let's just say basic foundational pieces, then that's what you need to start with. That's what you need to address. For the majority of people I've worked with in my life, in my career, it's health. People that are successful in other areas of their life, but their health is a major, major deficit for them. And they come to a realization point that, I can't ignore this anymore, so I better address this because I realize this is holding me back in various ways. A, B, C, D, X, Y, gamma, beta, delta, whatever the case may be. They realize that their lack of health, that their lack of vitality, that their lack of energy, that their lack of confidence in themselves, that is the next level amplifier that they need to bring into being. So you have to ask yourself that question then for yourself. What is it that I know is holding me back? What are the areas of my life that I've not put any energy into? These are questions. These are not answers, obviously. I can't tell you what to do. Some of you younger guys or even older guys that have asked me the question where maybe you are successful, maybe you do have, material wealth, so to speak, material stability, financial security, but you're bored with it, you don't know what to do with yourself. Well, then in that situation, now you can ask yourself those deep questions as to what purpose is. But if you don't have those foundational pieces, then the deep purpose, it's probably not going to be apparent to you. And, not the irony, but the phenomena that often arises is when you work on the basic functionalities of your being, the higher level functionalities will begin to emerge. A lot of self-discovery happens in simplicity. So that would be my suggestion to any of you guys where you feel like you're not living up to what you could be. You have a lot of potential, but like I said, you're underperforming. Well, where are the areas that you're underperforming in? Just start there and don't overcomplicate this. That's the other factor. A lot of this becomes paralysis by analysis as to where to start and what to start with and what's the best approach. If you are starting from zero, you're starting from zero. And, anything beyond zero is infinity more than zero. Let's make it real simple. One is infinitely more than zero. If you are currently doing nothing in one area of your life, then doing something is a major, major, major improvement. Whether that's going from being unfit to walking, whether that's going from not talking to any girls to talking to one girl, it doesn't matter. Just do something. I'm not the best person to ask in regards to systemization and organization, since those are things that I've struggled with. I have a mind that goes a million miles a minute, so focusing on one thing has been something that I've had to develop over time. But what I have found with time is that action does trump everything else. If you are taking action in some fashion or another, answers will emerge for you. A path will emerge. Direction will emerge. Simply by way of taking your energy and expending it in creating and applying yourself, you'll start to have clarity in those aspects of your life that are unclear. So take all of that, practice it, and like I like to say, pragmatic reality. Ultimately, we're going to be remembered by what we do, not what we thought about what we did, or this is what we thought, period. Act. Everything else beyond that doesn't really matter. Never wait until you feel you're ready. Just do it. Yeah, just that's a good way to start. Yeah, as you mature through things and as processes mature and as mastery gets closer to something, or as you approach mastery, you will find that taking time and being patient and really putting some forethought into your actions, that becomes more of a necessity. But in the beginning, for novices, for people that are just starting, just do. Don't make it any more complicated than that. Just do, with a capital D. Any questions? We got questions? I have a short drive, so. This is probably another topic that would merit a podcast, but I'd have to organize the thoughts. No questions, people? I'll give it a minute. Do you think that nitrates are very bad for us? No, nitrates are an essential part of health. If you look up, your body needs nitrogen to function properly. So, how should I say this? Back up 10 steps. I don't know what you think you know about nitrates. And just read about the role of nitrogen in the body. As nitrogen is one of the foundational elements of biological life. Unless you're talking about, let's say, like processed nitrates that are found in food, but those are also highly misunderstood as well. There's different types. So, not to dismiss the question, but you need to do some more research there. That's not a yes/no question. What do I think of Andrew Cobra Tate? I really like Tate. Obviously, he's banned now, but he was a very provocative, lived up to his archetype kind of guy, and I respect that. Thoughts on questions. Yeah, why don't I like thoughts questions? Because here's the thing. This is what a thoughts question means. This is what I know it means. When someone asks a question that really consists of just thoughts, I know that they have no real opinion, nor any real insight, nor any real cohesive line of thinking that is accompanying the topic they're asking about. If I approach somebody, let's just say hypothetical, I approach an expert, I approach a surgeon, and I say, hey, knee surgery, thoughts. That's not a fucking question. There's no specificity, there's no context, there's no domain of application. There is nothing that surrounds that really informs the question with any sense of meaningful knowledge, direction, or really just information. I'm essentially just asking them for any kind of unfiltered, opinion, you could call it, or perspective that has no clarity to it. It's an incredibly vague question. And for those of you that have been following me a while, I fucking hate vague questions because it shows that you didn't think. Now, myself personally, this is my own personal bias informing how I interact with people. I don't ask questions to experts unless I've done my research beforehand. I will never ask somebody that is a master in something a stupid question. And if I do ask them a stupid question, I will literally preface it with, I know this is likely a stupid question, or I'll say, you know what, I don't know anything about this topic. Where would you suggest I start learning about it? All I know is this term. Could you expand on it for me? I lack clarity, knowledge on it. I don't ask thoughts. Thoughts is low-level fucking thinking. Essentially, thoughts is not thinking. That's why I don't like those questions. Because at the same time, when you ask thoughts, I end up having to ask questions about the question because I don't know what you're asking. Carbs, thoughts. Again, not a fucking question. Are you going to tweet more jiu-jitsu observations? No, right now I am training in ballet full time, 4 to 5 hours a day, so I'm not doing anything else beyond ballet and then my regular gym workouts. Attempting to integrate combatives with ballet does not work well at all. How much in-person training do you still do? Very little. I have 1 to 2 people I'll see weekly for sort of intense one-on-one, and that's it. The period of my life where I trained full time, where I had 10 clients a day. Don't do that anymore. Essentially, the hourly model of working doesn't appeal to me. So, and I did it for most of my 20s. Would Trump be more awesome if he lost weight? No. No, his physicality is part of his persona, and it works for him. It works very, very well. When you have people that are, how might I say this? When you have people that are at the peak, so to speak, of archetypal representation and power and strength, interfering with that, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make sense at all. Obviously, I can make some recommendations to him that maybe you should do this or that, but seeing him as an observer from a professional opinion, he's very, very healthy just by his energy levels. So I can make recommendations, but he does not lack for vitality at all. So whatever he's doing, hey, you know what? If it's not broke, don't don't try and fix it. Keep on doing it. Anything else, people? How rapidly is the indoctrination cult thing spreading through our universities in America? The indoctrination cult was written about, 20, 30 years ago. That's not a new thing. Essentially, what you've seen today with the rise of, what you've seen today with the rise of, leftist ideology, or just the general mental operating structure in which there is no discourse, there's no dialogue, there is no interaction that way. That started back in the 1960s. All ideas have roots. Every idea that you see today, every social phenomena that you see today, it started, and you're seeing the evolution of it through different generations. So, this complete rejection of anything that contradicts any person's belief in primitive reality, that started 40, 50 years ago. The outcome that it's arisen to today with the modern generation, this is the ultimate manifestation of it. And as you can see, it makes people very, very, very mentally fragile, and it's very self-destructive. It's a power-based ideology, so to speak. It's grounded in a lot of Marxist ideology, you could say that. And it's evolved into something that is going to bring about metaphorical and literal destruction. So, a personal trainer talking politics. I talk about a lot of things. If I was to confine myself only to fitness, I'd have slit my wrist 10 years ago. A man is many, many things. Depth and breadth should be part of your being. And I'm done. Got work to do. So, adios, guys. Good question.